Hi, this is Joe again with another movie review. And for the start of this video, we're going to be discussing the 1987 Jim Belushi film, The Principal, which, like I said, came out in 1987 and also stars Lou Gossett Jr. and Ray Don Chong. Now, this movie is like a stereotypical uh, high school movie in the 80s, where you have like this white guy, this white teacher, trying to, quote unquote, save an inner city school into an inner city school around. And it was a pretty popular subject during the late 80s and early 90s. And you had two other films, but almost the same subject. One of them happened to be a true story, which was Lean on Me, starring Morgan Freeman. That one was actually based on a true story. And another one, based on a similar subject, supposedly was also based on a true story as well, called Dangerous Minds with Michelle Pfeiffer. And another movie called Stand and Deliver with Edward James Olmos, and that one was also based on a true story. This one, The Principal, like I said, it's James Belushi, is not based on a true story. Uh, this one is one of those movies that wasn't, but it's stereotypical for the time. And The Principal, like I said, so James Belushi is this washed out teacher who had just gotten divorced from his wife. And the movie actually opens up with him in the bar with a couple of his buddies, and he notices his wife just walked in, or his ex-wife, came into the same bar that he was at with her lawyer, who she was now dating. She was dating her divorce lawyer. So James Belushi got mad, grabbed the bat from behind the bar, and starts, going after the stupid lawyer. And he ended up getting arrested for it. So the next day at work in the school, he found out that he was going to be transferred out and was being offered a principal job, which he put in an application for some time ago. But now one finally came in. He said, "Okay, great. Which school?" And told which school which was called Brandel, which is the worst school in the city because of all the violence, all the rough kids, and all that type of stuff. He says, "Why am I not thrilled about this?" And it says, "Well, take it or leave it. It's either you take the job or we're going to fire you." And so he was pretty much forced to take the job, and pretty much the storyline with his ex-wife pretty much ended about a quarter of the way, or not quite a quarter of the way through the film. Which is kind of ridiculous, and pretty much the rest of the movie is about him in the school. The storyline, like I said, the storyline with his wife pretty much died, and because there was another scene with him with his wife, or ex-wife, and so I'm the principal now in Brandel. So yeah, I know, and she goes, "Yeah, I know about that," and she leaves. They pretty much say that, "Hey, you got like they want me to screw him for what he did to me and my date, for putting him in the worst school in the city." So it's pretty much implied right there. They got stuck there because of what he did in the first 5 minutes of the film. So like I said, he's trying to clean up the school, and he found out that when the head of the security, I should tell you, it was played by Lou Gossett Jr., who was a former student at the school, and that's when the school was halfway decent, was when he was a student, 20 or 30 years earlier, and then over the years, that's when the school got lousy and took a downturn and really became one of the worst school in the city because of the grades, the violent students, and teachers who don't give a shit. Uh, Basically. And so he's trying to turn the attitude around in the school. But there was one student who ran things. His name was Duncan. I forgot who the actor who played the part, but he was really, really good at playing the villain. And there's also one of the few movies, I think it's one of the last, if not the last film, where the black guy was the villain. Because in stupid liberal Hollywood, now, only the white guys could be villains, and the black guys could be heroes in movies now. Uh, by that time, when the principal came out, this was like one of the last films that has the black guy as the hero and the white. The black guy is the villain and the white guy the hero. That's what the principal was really. It's one of those last movies of this type. Uh, and so this guy Duncan ran things. I mean, he ran drugs throughout the school. Anybody who was competition for him, uh, he would he would get thugs or his thugs to beat him up or nearly kill him. And there's one particular sequence or one particular subplot where there was one guy who, uh, in Duncan's gang, who Jim Belushi thought had the potential, maybe not all that bad of a kid. He just running in with a bad crowd, and he says, "Look, why don't you leave the, his gang? We're doing his gang for, because if you run his gang, you can do whatever the hell you want in the school, and you can do anything and not get really that much in trouble." And Jim Belushi is trying to convince him, "Look, you can't, you will. You either will get killed or end up in jail if you stick with Duncan." And there was also another subplot where one of the teachers, female teacher, played by Ray Don Chong, and at first she curses him out, and then eventually, as this movie progresses, she warms up to him, and there could be a possible love interest thing going on between the two of them. And there's one particular sequence where she almost gets raped by one of the few white students in the school, and of course James Belushi saves her as he was in the hospital for a while. And then when she came out of the hospital, James Belushi said, "Take all the time you want to recover." And then she says, "Look, I'm thinking maybe transferring to another school." And James Belushi says, "I'm disappointed that you want to do that. I understand why, because after you got attacked. But I wish you stay, because there's one particular kid who adores you, and it's a kid that Jim Belushi was helping as well, because he took over Ray Don Chong's class throughout pretty much throughout the rest of the movie until she came back, and eventually, by the end of the movie, it looks like she is going to come back, but that issue was never resolved by the end of the movie though. And when the movie ends, it ends. There wasn't any continuation of storyline or anything else, and there was never a second movie of this. So anyway, when she was attacked, this other kid that was running in Duncan's gang, like I mentioned earlier, he wanted to set her up. He was asked to set her up in this thing, and he said no. And after that, he left the game because of that. And he said, "Okay, good for you. So look, I want to help you. I'm here to help you, as principal. And I think you're able to be a good student and do well here, if you just keep your nose clean." He said, "Okay." Reluctantly, he talks him out of it. Talks him into it. And then, of course, a little bit later on, like a couple of days later, this kid that left Duncan's gang nearly gets killed. And James Belushi knew who almost killed this kid, and it was the Duncan character. So he confronts him and says, "I want you in jail." And he says, "I want you in jail, but no one is willing to admit that they saw what you did to this kid. But you're going to wish you were in jail, because when I catch you, you're going to wish that you were in jail." And then, of course, the Duncan character threatens to kill Jim Belushi. Just don't show up tomorrow, because you're going to go home in a body bag. And of course, in the last, like 10 minutes, 15 minutes of the film, that's where you had the big confrontation inside the school. And Jim Belushi perfectly was beating up other kids and throwing other kids around, being a tough guy in the class. And Duncan, there was one particular scene which I skipped over, where Duncan's thugs beat up Jim Belushi in the classroom. He pretty much first he stripped his motorcycle apart, and then they beat the shit out of him, literally. And then, of course, Jim Belushi gets even with Duncan and his gang later on out on the street. And then And then you have this big fight scene. And that's when Raynor Tong's character comes back, and this little kid who Jim Belushi was helping said, "I'm not fighting those guys." I said, "Look, can you at least walk, you know, Mr. Vasco, which was Raynor Tong's name in the movie, the character name? Can you at least walk Mr. Vasco to a course?" He goes, "Yeah, I can do that." And the other thing is, of course, he had the famous fight scene. They had a fight scene in the girl, and of all places, the girl shower in the school, and there was no girls in there. So anyway, but then you have this fight scene where Duncan actually kills another one of his gang because he didn't want to kill, uh, the principal. They didn't want to kill Jim Belushi. He said, "Look, if you want, you already almost killed the other kid. We almost killed him. We strung him up. We threw him down into the glass ceiling. He could almost die. If he died, we're going to be up for a murder rap. I don't want to be up for a murder rap here. So if you want to kill him, kill him yourself." And so Duncan kills him for not killing Jim Belushi, and then he was going to kill him, and then they end up getting into a big fight, an actual fist fight. And I just love his reaction because Jim Belushi blocks two punches. First, Jim Belushi was getting his butt kicked, and then Jim Belushi blocks two punches, and he goes, "My turn!" And then he starts beating the crap out of Duncan, and then he literally throws him out the door. And of course, he ends up getting arrested. Duncan does get arrested for the murder and attempted murder of Jim Belushi's character, and of course the attempted murder of the previous character that I mentioned. And of course, the movie pretty much ends with the line one kid says, "Who the hell do you think you are?" And this other kid, I forgot the kid's name. I know I'm referring to him as the kid, but I really forgot his character's name. He goes, "He's the principal, man." And then Belushi looks at him and says, "I'm the principal, man." And that was actually the last line in the movie. He drives off with a motorcycle, and that's how the credits rolling. And then all the kids leave the school at the end of the movie, and that's how it ends. Unfortunately, I would like to see a sequel to this to see how well Jim Belushi character cleaned up that school. I really would like to see that happen, but when the movie came out, it pretty much got lousy write-ups because it is kind of predictable. You know how the story is going to go. You know he's going to confront this kid. You know at the end of the movie he's going to have a big confrontation, and Jim Belushi's character is going to win the confrontation, and the kid's going to get arrested, and it's going to be the end of the film. But despite that, it is an entertaining film because of Jim Belushi's performance. Yeah, and I always like Jim Belushi's movies. Most of them I like. Most of them, a good chunk of them I've seen, and most of them I liked. And the only one that a big name movie that he did that I haven't seen all the way through was Red Heat that he did with Arnold Schwarzenegger. So Jim Belushi had to have a performing with big name stars in his films, but this one a lot of people give it like a bad review or a mediocre review on the print. I mean, I've seen the movie get like one star in the papers when it's listed being airing someplace. Maybe I don't know. I gotta say I think 2 stars for one. Maybe like I said earlier, maybe because it's too predictable of a film. Yeah, you can see that. You can say it's a stereotypical movie. The white guy being a hero of a mostly black and Hispanic school. Because he did so many of those type of movies after The Principal, which is kind of funny. This one actually started the trend of those types of movies, where a white guy or a white woman, whatever the case may be, comes in and saves a black guy, or comes in and saves a mostly innocent school or whatever. So you're like the old line, only white people could save the poor blacks or the more Hispanic crap. I mean, you can make an argument. I don't like that particular argument when people bring it up, but I can understand why they think, oh, only whites could do that. How about vice versa nowadays? I mean, since this movie, now you have blacks who are heroes, like Will Smith in Independence Day, or if you watch Law and Order, but either the original series or the Special Victims Unit show, we get a lot of the time, not every single show, but most recent years, like over the last 10 years or so, you have a lot of people who are black actors who are playing a judge on Law and Order or Boston Legal or LA Law. Some of these shows that came out that or episodes of these shows that came out after the principal, when you have a black guy, a black actor, or a black woman uh, playing a judge or playing a surgeon, like on ER. Only black guys can be surgeons on that show, um, or other types of things. This movie actually started that trend. Was actually really the last of its trend, with a white guy saving, you know, blacks or Hispanics in an inner city school. Um, it actually did start that trend, but I think it really was one of the last. Really, the only one that was different was maybe Dangerous Minds, when Michelle Pfeiffer was in it. Uh, Other than those two films, all the other movies were pretty much a black person saving the world or saving whomever. Uh, but in this particular case, the principle, you have always a white person saving it. The most recent case was Blindside with Sandra Bullock, well, and that was based on a true story as well, where a white person trying to save a black and poor neglected black person. But the principle, like I said a couple times already, it's the one that's actually started the trend with a white person saving blacks or Hispanics in the school. But this movie I actually did like. I did like the principal because, like I said earlier, because of James Belushi's performance as well as Luke Gossett. Yeah. I always kind of like Luke Gossett, or Luke Gossett Jr. because he was in this movie. And he did a good job protecting Jim Belushi a lot in this film because he was probably the head of security. And you have a big tough guy like Luke Gossett because he does play a tough guy in this film. And those are pretty stereotypical of him too, because Stu Gossett always plays like a tough guy, and he continues that trend in this film, and he did, and there was a very good chemistry between the two of them in the film, like great on screen chemistry. Like I said, there's also great screen chemistry between James Belushi and Ray Dong Chong's character. Uh, Too bad it didn't really go all that far. I mean, you didn't have a love scene between the two of them in this film. You really didn't. Um, but there was a good chemistry between him, and also good chemistry between James Belushi and some of the other students that he was giving crap to. Well, that's my review of the principal. Sorry, I went a little bit of a tangent there with all the racial stuff. So if anybody got offended by what I said with all the racial stuff before, I want to apologize now. I don't want to read any negative comments on this. So that's my review of The Principal, the 1987. In case it was more than one movie with the same title. Please click on the video. Please rate it. Feel free to comment on. Please subscribe to my channel, and please forward this video onto your Facebook pages. And also, you can check out my other older videos, not only on my YouTube channel. You can check out all my videos there, but also you can check out my videos on rowdyc.com. That's ROWDY, C.com. And you can check out my friend the Rowdy Reviewer. And you can check out his TV Trash videos, his Wrestling Mark videos, uh, TV Treasures, his Charlie Brown videos. Uh, he does reviews on mostly bad television shows, and he does a great job. I mean, he is my favorite YouTube or online critic. Even though he doesn't have all that many videos on YouTube, he used to, but he prefers people go to his website instead. So please go to rowdyc.com. That's ROWDY, C.com. Check out his videos, as well as some of my older videos on there, as well as on my YouTube channel. Thank you for watching, and catch you next time.